We're here today with Ryszard Piskorz, who is the head of the Institutionalized Fund Services Group within BNP Paribas Securities Services here in his office, Warsaw Spire. Beautiful new offices here. Thanks, Ryszard, for taking some time today. And what we're planning to do is just give a little bit of an idea of what you guys are doing here within your center for our weekly Meet the Manager series that we have. So I wanted just to kind of, first of all, tell us from the background a little bit about what your background is, what you've been doing, and how you got here, and then tell us a bit about what BNP Paribas Security Services is doing.
Okay. So thank you, Tom. Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity. So my background is, I've worked for BNP Paribas Securities Services for the last 17 years, because it's a very engaging company, growing and driven, and it's a very interesting business for us. And I've been here in Poland for the last 7 years. Being second generation Polish, it's been a real
second
privilege.
generation. Okay, I wondered.
A real privilege to start the office from scratch.
By the way, is your Polish fluent? Are you speaking Polish fluent?
Yeah, pre-war fluent, which
Okay.
I've adapted to the
Okay.
21st century.
Okay.
And yes, great privilege to grow the office, and we're at about 900 people as of today. And as you rightly said, we specialise in fund services. So we're the centre in Europe for our captive BPO here in Europe for fund services.
Okay. So
maybe should I expand?
Please.
So just out of interest, fund services really is a growing area because within security services, it's the largest and growing field because investment these days is probably 70% done through the vehicle of funds. So not only is it pension funds, insurance funds, but it's also retail, real estate funds, mergers and acquisitions are all done with the wrapper of a fund. So increasingly, more and more investment by institutions is done through funds. So
and is that all ETFs fits in that definition as well?
All types of financial instruments, yes, everything. Yeah. From vanilla shares to derivatives, the whole lot.
So in terms of what you guys are actually doing here, your team is doing here, tell us a bit about the processes that you're managing, performing for your I suppose your clients of BNP Paribas.
Yes. Well, so as I say, our clients are institutional clients, so pension funds, fund managers, insurance companies, sovereign wealth funds. And everything to do with funds we carry out. So it falls into three categories. First of all, it might be to do with depository. So institutional investors need a reliable, solid organisation to protect the interest of investors. So that they appoint a depository bank, firstly. Secondly, they might outsource everything apart from the investment decision to somebody else because there's so many small alternative fund managers, so we do lots of outsourcing activities which might comprise fund accounting, middle office, calculating performance, etc. And the third string, which is a growing string, is really supporting what we call alternative funds, because again the performance of stock markets has been quite dull over the last 10 years, and so investors are looking for different types of situations, hedge funds, different types of small traders and dealers, and that's a growing area for us. So it's those three streams, if that's clear.
So in terms of your team, you're employing people who are mathematicians or accountants, or what is sort of the gamut of types of skills or people that you've got here?
Well, they're generally highly qualified people, so we recruit from all the best universities. They tend to obviously have English, potentially one more language, and they tend to need to have operational competency, structure, well organised, keen to implement change, have some kind of competency towards IT, but not necessarily IT people.
Okay. So that would not necessarily either be an accountant. It might just be, as you said, a well-organized, smart person who could come on board.
Well, we do have some accountants, I'm a chartered accountant, so accountants are good, Tom.
And in terms of the growth, you guys said you're at 900 now. If you go back 5 years ago, what would your BNP Paribas HQ have said about the likelihood of you being 900 today?
Well, I think in every organisation there's an element of winning internal trust as to the capability of what can be done. So I think the growth has been gently exponential in the first 2 or 3 years, gaining that trust, proving that the work can be done to a good quality. And I think it's true in all Polish shared service centres, but certainly in BNP. Senior managers that come here are struck by how keen, able the staff are to be able to do more, how open they are to change, and that's what's attracting so much interest in shared service centres in Poland.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that for a moment, because there's lots of interest in it. Sort of forever a mature market. There's new guys coming in, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs across the street here.
Yeah.
New guys coming in, perhaps from other banks across the world. How's that affecting your operations, your projections, your financial projections? Is it changing the calculations? Is it getting busy market?
Yeah.
Hard to find people? Tell us a little about that.
Strategically, it's such good news because it just underlines the fact that Poland really is the shared service centre capital of Europe.
Yeah.
So nobody makes investment decisions on a 2-3 year view. Everybody chooses to have an office in a country in the long term. So that means 10 years plus. And what you want is a knowledgeable workforce in the long run. And that's what's happening in Poland. Of course, in the short term, there might be a little bit of warmth in terms of labour market, but we're not seeing anything that might have been in Bangalore or Chennai in India or Manila with 20% salary inflation, etc., etc. It's certainly not like that. Poland is a country of 40 million people. It's like saying, well, another bank opened up in Canary Wharf. Well, so what?
Right.
You know,
Okay.
it's a deep market.
Okay. A lot of every conference that one goes to these days has a discussion of RPA robotics. Tell us a bit about that, those processes inside BNP Paribas. Is that something you're looking at, you're doing now? Tell us about the potential for that, the appeal of that.
Did you say robotics?
Robotic process automation in terms of.
Well, it's on our agenda. So the whole group is investing tens of billions in digital transformation to adapt ourselves. So it's part of a portfolio strategy whereby in some cases we're working with small startups to completely remove and change our processes, and robotics are that kind of intermediary tactical solution that give us benefit whilst waiting for the big transformation to come into place. So certainly I'm proud to say that here in Warsaw with the leaders within our group, certainly on paperless, digital.
Okay, interesting. Within the group, yes?
Within our group, yes. With it, as far as robotics process automation goes. And that's because we've got such keen, able people. And we've got our incubator in Paris, and they're very keen to apply those technologies here in Warsaw because people are hungry to use them.
That's interesting. And last question or point, going out 5 years, if you give us an idea of what this organization looks like in 5 years in Poland or in the region, numbers, processes, how it will develop. Give us a crystal ball, best guess of what you're doing in 5 years from here.
Tom, that's such an easy question. Well, I always say that shared service centres go through 3 phases, so I don't think there's anything particularly unique for BNP. So the first phase is you just move, lift and shift. So staff are busy getting adjusted to the organisation, they're learning the processes. The second phase then is, well, we've got similar processes from different locations, let's harmonise them and drive value from that. And the third phase is, of course, we become the experts. So with time, there'll be mature expertise here in Poland, just like in India. They're leaders in medical technology, or they're shooting satellites into space because they started with BPO, and on the back of that, they gleaned expertise in specific sectors. So BPO isn't a sector in its own right. It's the pharmaceuticals, it's financial services, whatever the BPO is attached to. So it generates for the country a quantum shift in what it's able to do. So that's what's going to happen. It's a natural evolution.
Great, good, positive final comment there. Yeah,
Right, for sure.
Yeah, and
Hopefully you and I will be here too.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Right?
We'll see about that, right? And your personally, you have vacation plans, Christmas time, New Year's Eve. You're going to stay in Warsaw, going somewhere else?
Well, second generation Polish, I've still got my family back in the UK, so I'm heading back for a few days there.
Good.
So it'll be a trying time on my body, running from friends to family, eating and drinking. You know what it's like.
Great. Well, enjoy
It'll
that.
be really nice.
Enjoy that. Thanks again for
Yeah.
your time today.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.